Hello, 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 and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin, known as the Dream Decipherer, and this is Dream Your Life, Live Your Dream Live, where we talk about all things dreams. Now, today we're going to focus on dreams and the natural world, and I hope that my change in position to catch a breeze in this extreme heat doesn't affect the sound quality. I hope you can hear me. It is quite breezy where I'm sitting, but my usual spot is just too airless. So I've changed position and I'm wearing as little as the law allows to stay cool. So dreams about nature, what are they about? Whether they represent stormy times or calm times, what do dreams about nature mean for the dreamer? Now, a dream about nature may occur because of maybe a renewed sense of hope and freedom in our waking lives, or it may simply signify an escape from things that feel restrictive, or when we're craving peace and tranquility. Now, as with all dreams, dreams about nature have to be looked at in context. So what is happening in our waking lives? What are the different moving parts in our lives? What's going on? All of that will have an impact on how we can understand the meaning behind a dream. Now, dreaming about nature, again, can have different interpretations depending on the different elements and the contents of the dream. And generally, nature would represent life force, renewal, beauty, and harmony. And if in the dream nature appears in a state of beauty and balance, it may be an indicator that the dreamer is feeling well in their environment, that they are at peace with themselves and the people around them. It may also mean that they're connecting to their more emotional and spiritual side, as opposed to being left-brained all the time and accounting and evaluating and judging things. Now, to give you an example, there are many different meanings attached to flowers. Lilies have a spiritual significance and may signify resurrection, as in Easter lilies, or for some, transition of some kind of change, not necessarily death as such, but certainly a change. Roses, we know how much roses become extremely expensive on Valentine's Day. The red roses signify passion and love to a certain extent, while white roses represent purity and innocence. So trees are sturdy, they're long-lived, they have deep roots. And maybe they signify that the dreamer needs to build a strong foundation and look at how to extend their longevity, or to make their longevity as deep-rooted as possible. So beautiful natural settings in a dream could indicate that, again, that you may have encountered a peaceful space in your life. Blossoming trees, plants, flowers in a dream can symbolize new beginnings and new ideas or new opportunities and positive changes in our lives that will move us on to the next stage of our lives. Weeds or a bleak and unpleasant environment may be a signal that the person needs to perhaps do some pruning in their waking life to be able to get rid of the dead wood, the dead weight, perhaps. Now, I know that I've had dreams in the past where some were in black and white and showed a very bleak, snow-bound landscape. And it was during a period of my life that felt kind of bleak and colorless. So even whether we see things in color or black and white in our dreams, it can be significant. And just as a little fact for you, Before the advent of color television in the 1950s, only about 20 to 30% of people dreamed in color. Now, it's like 80 to 90% of people dream in color, and that includes people who may be currently blind but had sight at one point. So even the fact that we can dream in color is a result of our environment. Or the lack of color can also indicate that there may be something all is not right in our world. So if a dreamer perhaps is wandering through a natural landscape, such as a forest, or maybe climbing a mountain, it may be indicating that they're searching for a path, a way forward, or they're encountering difficulties. I mean, mountain climbing is not for the faint-hearted at all. It takes a hard work and effort. So it may be that the dreams are, again, metaphors. Dreams work as if, in terms of metaphors. So if you're climbing a mountain in your dream, or you're sliding down a mountain in a dream, it may feel like that in some aspect of your waking life. And that's where you have to become a detective and see where in your life you experience those particular feelings, whatever they may be. Now, there have been, in my work with clients, there have been dreams about nature. One client in particular, she was having a lot of strife within her family with regard to the care of her elderly mother who was ill. And at that point, she actually stopped dreaming. She wasn't dreaming at all. After we did some work together, and I identified consciously what was bothering her about her situation, i.e. her siblings dumping all of the responsibility of caring for her mother onto her shoulders instead of shouldering the burden equally with her. But once she realized that, she started to dream again. And the dreams became very colorful, very beautiful, very happy dreams. And this is what I mean. It's like our dreams are a product of our environment and what's going on in our lives, what we're feeling. So if you're dreaming about a calm, peaceful nature scene, that could indicate that you're at a stage of your life where you feel calm and at peace. Stormy seas, stormy indications. So perhaps there's storms in your life or there's storms ahead to come. Now, when I had my dreams that saved my life from 9/11, I was dreaming about shipwrecks. I was dreaming about stormy seas and ships going down at sea. And it was really quite frightening and quite horrible to have these images replaying night after night after night in my head. But it wasn't something that fortunately impacted me directly, though it could have if I hadn't listened to the message of the dream and made some decisions about leaving New York a year before the event. So there is, with regard to dreams, animals can also be significant in our dreams. Perhaps seeing a lion is a call to be courageous, which was the case for one client of mine who was a budding entrepreneur, and the back chat from her family was spooking her as to whether she should go forward with her plans to start a business. And there were lions in her dream in Central Park. Don't ask me why, but these lions were not there to devour her. They wanted her to play with them. So the animal was an inspiration to gather her courage and to face down her family, and her business is absolutely thriving years later. So that dream was a call to action to her to kind of put aside the naysayers in her family and to be courageous in starting her business and fulfilling her dream. But our daily language is full of natural images and symbols, such as we talk about a bolt out of the blue, or somebody being as sly as a fox, or that elephants never forget anything. or that the wolf is at the door when things are getting a bit difficult, and even saving for a rainy day. So, and these are expressions that we use over and over and over again without even thinking twice about them. But these metaphors, these natural metaphors, have a specific meaning, whether we're awake or asleep. So, if you see an animal in your dream, take note. Sometimes they even speak, which may startle us. But yes, animals do have language, not necessarily our language, but if you have an animal that's in your dream that is speaking, it's perhaps a call to listen to our natural wisdom. You know, we humans tend to think that we're superior creatures, but despite all of that, we are part of the natural world. We are animals. We are mammals, so we are animals, just like all of the other creatures that inhabit the planet. So listening to what animals have to say in our dreams can be significant, because maybe we're not listening to our natural selves. We are acting in unnatural ways in some way. So sick animals, if you're tending to a sick animal, what is it that in your life that feels sick, unhealthy, that needs to be healed in some way? Or an animal that's hungry. What in us needs to be fed so that we feel satisfied? What perhaps is filling us with anger or rage instead of filling us up with good things? So you have to remember that the unconscious mind uses plays on words, it uses metaphors, it uses analogies to get us to out of ordinary reality and to think more deeply. Now, if you're thinking of animals perhaps that are locked up in cages and wanting to set them free, perhaps you're feeling restricted in your environment. Could that be the case, whether at home or at work or in social situations? Nature is wild. It's untamed. Even our domestic animals have their wild side to them, and they do what they feel. No restrictions, no frowns of disapproval, none of that. They do what they got to do, and we've, to a certain extent, restrict ourselves so that we don't do what comes naturally. And maybe dreaming about animals in cages or restricted in some way is a call to action, again, to set yourself free, to set ourselves free in some way. Maybe it's a way of thinking, a way of behaving, certain relationships. You have to go beyond the appearance of things to the actual substance and dig a little bit deeper. So if you're an instinctive person, a person that follows their gut instincts or their intuition, you're actually tapping into that wild side of yourself, that untamed and unrestricted side of yourself, which has a lot to teach us. But if you're resisting that, or you're literally going against your own nature. And that's not a good thing. That the more that we feel stifled and repressed, the more that our dreams become outrageous as a counterbalance. So whatever's happening in our waking life will find its way into our dreams, but in an exaggerated form, so that to actually highlight the imbalance and hopefully clue us in that we need to bring ourselves back into balance. So there's just a few thoughts again, and a dream about anything has to be looked at in the context of our lives, what's going on in our lives, what are we feeling, what are we acknowledging we feel, and what are we not acknowledging that we're feeling. So dreaming about nature can indicate that maybe craving a feeling of freedom, and seeing your nature in your dreamscape may mean your desire to escape from something. Who knows? Maybe it's just something that needs to happen in your life Do you feel the need for more peace and tranquility in your life? Your dreams may be pointing to that. And remember, dreams not only frame our situation, but also point to a possible solution. Now, if there may be too much noise in your world, in your day-to-day life, too many people chatting in your ears and filling your head with nonsense, and maybe the silence and peace of nature, like in the desert, or in a mountainside or beside a stream, can indicate that your life needs to flow in a different direction. It needs to become watered in some way. So how can you respond to dreams like that? First of all, again, it's about analyzing where in your life you may be feeling these particular feelings that are highlighted by the dream. But it can also be a simple call to bring nature into your life more. We live, 24/7 in artificial lighting and in artificial environments, and it's really detrimental to our well-being to do that. So maybe it's a call to do something as simple as walking through a park on your way home. Or if you happen to live near the ocean, to kick off your shoes and feel the ocean spray, which, by the way, the ocean spray on our faces and our skin produces endorphins or feel-good hormones, which is why we feel so good at the beach. So, it could just mean that you need to tend to your own nature, your own natural needs, and live in a way that's more in balance with that instinctive and natural side of yourselves. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Have a great rest of the day. I am going to run back to the air conditioning and then have a swim a little bit later when the sun is a little bit lower in the sky. Have a great rest of the day and weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.